Well, the first and most important thing is that people come to have fun. And I would say that that spirit of playfulness is really at the heart of this work. So it can be silly, but that doesn't make it easy. I think that being silly and being playful actually can be quite hard, quite difficult. But the difficulty doesn't come from us having to learn something, it rather comes from us having to unlearn something. So that what makes the work difficult is that we often start from our heads. We work, we think that we have to do this, or we have to do that, we have to be clever, or we have to come up with good ideas. And in fact, the more you think you have to do something, or it has to be done like this, the more it gets in the way of the work. So what the learning consists of, it's more of an unlearning, you could say. And it's more about learning to free yourself from all of those little voices inside you that tell you have to do this, or that you're not good, or you're not. I would say that that's a lesson in freedom. For me, clowning is a lesson in freedom. So our work is quite different in a way that we don't work with face paints, we don't have big shoes, we don't have custard pies. So we don't work with this stereotyped image of the clown. Basically, you know, we could do our work without a nose, without face paints. We could do, we would hopefully be recognized. We use a red nose, and we use slightly eccentric costumes. But that's so that people can recognize that we are clowns. But that's as far as we go. And then the rest is very, very much in the tradition of Jacques Lecoq and the way that he developed the mask work. So,
my name's Chris. I've done some clowning workshops before this, and I'm actually spending the term here at Emerson. And heard that this particular week's course was running clowning as an inner journey, and I recognised when I did my first workshop last November that it was important for me, although I've done quite a bit of acting and performing in the past, but the clowning is very different.
This seems to be much more of, if you like, an inner gesture rather than something that is entertainment. So when I speak to people about it, I often find myself explaining, no, it's not about children's parties and big feet and buckets of water, and it's certainly not about having big smiley drawn on faces and makeup and things. It's a very simple entering into that space. But I think that space is not about performance, and it's not about entertainment, and it's definitely not about trying to make people laugh. I think what it's about is entering into a space of naivety and innocence, and that can be very poignant, and it can often be very funny for other people to watch. And you know it when people are in that groove, and you know it in yourself when you get into that playful groove. I think it's about playing. And it's lovely to watch people playing.
Well, it takes you within yourself. You can't really do true clowning without looking at yourself. And if you don't want to do that, then don't do clowning, because it's quite exposing. And you meet yourself, whether you're on stage, in inverted commas, on your own, or whether you're with other clowns doing a threesome. It is very real, and it's about being real. Clowning, it's not about wearing masks and pretending. You might, as you're clowning, make things up and you'll improvise and you'll imagine things, but it's always anchored in reality, and you're switching between one reality and another one.
Go for it. What are you doing? It's her fault. She just laid herself open there. What are you doing?
Yes, she's dying. She's being pierced with the sword. She's dying. She's dying.
But she's going to go to heaven.
She has so much to give in her dying. She has so much to give in her dying.
You are the agent for her redemption.
Give it!
Yes.
Give it to the world!
This is a great moment.
She's dying.
When I said I was going on this course, I have a friend who is a psychotherapist, and she was curious about it, and oh, the clown. Now the clown has got that facade. And she said, I don't know how useful that is. And then after having come on the course, I realized that it actually is so useful to the psychotherapist, because that's what it's all about, is finding out what's on behind the mask and revealing that. So I think it's very therapeutic. And it's very therapeutic to the person who takes the clowning route, I think, because you just become more and more conscious of yourself.
One of the things we noticed with the conflict resolution was that there was a great deal of interest in this kind of course. And I still don't know exactly why. I suspect with the fact that we all confronted in our lives with very important, serious things, and that it makes us forget the lightness, so that by bringing the two together, it invites people to explore important issues, but in a very light-hearted way, in a very playful way.
I think there is in every one of us something that is infinitely creative, something that delights in life and in everything in life, not just nice, easy, pretty things, but the multiplicity and the complexity of life, and the difficult, grungy parts of life. And the clown, our inner clown, can come to that with fresh eyes, fresh insight, coming to each moment, not with the mind calling the shots about how it's got to be. And if we have the openness to come to other people, to come to life, so it does have a very real relevance for life. And in some ways it's not all that different from discovering our inner child that we often lose as we get older.
By reconnecting to the heart, by reconnecting to our humanity, in a way clowning provides a very important tool for resolving conflicts.
Through clowning, I've learnt in my body that leadership is also about enabling things to happen and taking a back seat and following other people and amplifying what they're doing. I think I've learnt more about leadership through clowning than I have through business, in a way. No, in many ways.
I didn't actually come on the course with expectation, but I was quite resistant at the beginning of the week. Wasn't quite sure how it was going to be, but it's been a wonderful week. As a group, we've got to know each other very well. We've done a lot of laughing, and some crying, some sharing.
Oh yes, we must take the clown with us into life. It's mandatory. We all do. We all act the fool. We all share that, and I think that's the invitation to model it for the world, to get out there and be your zany self and not hide behind the mask. I think that's what I really understood more than anything else this week that I thought that the clown was hiding behind a mask. But no, it's about revealing what's going on behind the mask. So really getting in touch with how you're really feeling and sharing that with the world. And more of that is very healthy.
Clowning is about being okay with being a frail human being that mucks up all the time.
Well, when I'm on the workshop, of course, I'm very much part of that and present to that and experiencing all that the journey of the workshop is. Whether it's a short weekend or whether it's a longer period like this week. But at the end of it, you're not the same. You're not the same person. So you can't help but take something away with you to your work, your everyday life, to relationships, friendships.
Our work is around improvisation, and it's around play, it's around being free, it's around communication. So all of those things have gradually become more and more recognized. In fact, there is a new way of looking at clowning, and it's definitely in the air.